We're now joined by Frankie Corrado. So Frankie, Hellebuyck's getting the night off. Comrie is getting the start. But Hellebuyck is on pace for 66 games this season. He was definitely due some rest. And do you think it's a good idea for the Jets to start doing this, giving him a little more rest?
Sure, it's a good idea. It's a luxury that you have because you've banked so much points, so much currency in the bank with the start that you've had. So it gives you an opportunity to rest Connor Hellebuyck a little bit here and not just have to put your backup goaltender in the net on back-to-back situations. And the reality for the Winnipeg Jets is they're such a good team. They're so good defensively. The offense is really coming for them that even if Comrie has to go in the net against a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, you feel like you can still win that game. That one player isn't going to sink your team in a game like tonight against Tampa Bay. So I like the fact that, he's a workhorse goalie, Connor Hellebuyck. You want to play him as much as possible, but you can find some games to maybe get him some rest because, as you know, the Winnipeg Jets, it's make or break time for them in the playoffs, not necessarily right now in the regular season. They have proven a lot in the regular season in years past. They need Connor Hellebuyck to be at his best, at his healthiest come playoff time.
Yes, they certainly do. And Hellebuyck, he has been one of the keys to this historic start. You say it's not just one player, but he certainly has stood out, right? What else has stood out to you with the Jets this early in the season?
They are relentless. And what I mean by that is lines 1 through 4 have at least one thing that they do really well. So there's not a line that's going to jump over the boards and it's going to be a letdown for the other team. The first line, they have the puck a lot. They're really good at not giving it up. The second line is really speedy and they can play with the puck. The third line is they're heavy, they're physical, they make it really difficult for you in so many different ways. And the fourth line is clearly not a throwaway line. That's a line that has a lot of purpose and is not just there to kill the clock while the other three lines collect their rest. So, every line that hops over the boards has a purpose and has at least one thing that they do really well. So how do you play against a team like that? Because there's no freebie shifts when you're playing against that group. It makes it really difficult, and that's been a big part of the success that they have. All those players and all those lines really serve a purpose for this team.
Yeah, no opponent has a chance to let their guard down against the Jets. Now, yesterday, Gino, Hayes, and Button talked about how the Jets still aren't listed inside the top 10 as favorites to win the Stanley Cup on FanDuel. One team that is tonight's opponent, the Lightning. So, despite the fact they aren't even in a playoff spot, the Lightning, do you expect the Jets to send a message to Tampa tonight?
I don't for 1 second think that there are players that know where they're ranked on the FanDuel list of teams that could win a Stanley Cup. So I'm not going to try and manufacture some kind of statement game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who's a team they don't see very often. They see them twice a year. But what I will say is, it feels like every game is building towards something for the Winnipeg Jets. And, it's gone so well for them. So it's hard to say that, okay, this is going to be the measuring stick game because when the Winnipeg Jets are rolling into town, Tampa Bay is looking at that saying, we need to match up against this team. So I'm not going to incite some kind of, manufactured rivalry against the Tampa Bay Lightning just because their odds are longer than Tampa Bay's. But the Winnipeg Jets have something good going here, and it's up to them to continue that. And if they're going to lose a game, they're going to lose a game because the other team beat them, not because they let their guard down and let the other team walk all over them.
Really hard to stop the momentum of the Jets right now. One place the odds makers do like the Jets is in the President's Trophy odds. They are now listed as the favorite at plus 490.